are calling for gender transformative education to advance climate justice. Today, we're launching our statements of recommendations, including our calls to action for leaders attending COP26. We are laying out exactly what is missing in our climate education, what we need, and how a gender transformative education can help achieve this. Make sure that your organization signs on this statement to collectively push for gender and climate justice.
For an effective climate response, we need to make our education system stronger, supporting students to build adaptive capacities and promote pro environmental behavior. This can only be achieved through gender transformative approach. With so much at stake for the people and the planet, we must work to build a more equal, peaceful, and a sustainable world.
It is vital to have a gender transformative and intersectional approach to education to eradicate gender discrimination as well as promote climate justice, both of which are strongly linked. Girls face the worst of climate change, and it is important to make education more accessible for them, as well as making sure that the system caters to their perspective. Climate justice isn't justice if it isn't for all, and girls and Indigenous people are disproportionately impacted by climate change. Their voice must be heard and they must be empowered. Why isn't their reality being taught? Why isn't that being discussed? Educational institutions are meant to be a platform for learning and development, and for all its students. No one gets left behind. Intersectionality also helps accountability. Who is the most responsible, yet who faces the brunt of it? Girls have the potential and they have the right to their education, and it is time for us to facilitate that.
Therefore, today I'm asking all the world leaders to invest in a climate education that is gender transformative and incorporates climate in all aspects of core curriculum across 12 years of education. Breaks down the cultural norms and traditional power structures that act as a barrier to girls' leadership. Takes an intersectional approach that leaves no child or perspective behind.
We're calling on parties to COP26 to recognize and prioritize quality climate education in delegation briefings and recommendations at COP26, building on commitments made at the G7 and at the Global Education Summit. We also call them to take a gender transformative approach in the review and enhancement of the Doha Work Program on Action for Climate Empowerment, ACE. We call all parties to attend the high-level Climate Education Summit at COP26 to advocate for and support a gender transformative approach to climate education. We call you to prioritize and utilize the Youth and Public Empowerment Thematic Day at COP to make and share commitments to gender transformative education and youth leadership. We ask you to be accountable to and implement the commitments made in the Gender Action Plan at COP26, centering girls and young women in policies for gender just climate action and decision making. Finally, we call you to enable children and youth, especially girls and young women, to claim their seat at the table by including them on official national delegations for their meaningful and engagement participation at COP26.